Sup fools, how's it going, and welcome to another Tutorial Thursday, titty. And today I'm going to explain everything you need to know about 3D camera tracking in After Effects. Let's begin. Titty. My name is Vlog, hope you're doing well, and like I said, today we're going to talk about camera tracking. What is camera tracking? When you shoot footage and you want to add some visual effects or text animation, anything, maybe a logo to your footage, you want to track your footage. You need to track your footage to make the visuals you add to your footage, you want them to move exactly like your footage itself. So, for example, you have a camera movement, a drone is flying out of a neighborhood, and you want to add your own name to the footage. And of course, you could just add it on top of everything and call it a day, but we want to be special, we want to be fancy, you want to go the extra mile to make it look cool. That's why we need 3D camera tracking. So how do we do this? We jump right in After Effects. Here, this is Adobe After Effects, and as you can see, we have a shot of my house. The drone is flying out, and eventually we see the entire neighborhood. Cool. So now we need to use the 3D camera tracker. Usually it's here on the right side. If it's not, you can find it under Window and Tracker. There is different camera trackers for different purposes. So for that purpose, where we have a camera movement like going all over the place and we don't really know yet where exactly we want to add our external footage or words or text or whatever it is, so we are using the 3D camera tracker, and for that we're going to just click here on track camera. And because it's such a wide movement, I right away, don't waste time, click on advanced and then on detailed analysis. Detailed analysis basically means that it uses way more trackers than it would otherwise. What are trackers? So when you have footage, any kind of footage, you can track something. Well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a house, could be like this hand here. You could track my finger to add something to my finger. This is something you could do too. Okay, so and for that you need trackers, and trackers are little dots basically, which basically save information of camera movement or object movement. So little dots, imagine little pins at my finger, for example, and when my finger goes to the right, the tracker goes to the right. So wherever my finger is going, the tracker basically saves out this information, and you can use this information to add something else to the footage, like words. So you can do that with individual trackers. You can point a tracker, for example, to my finger because you want exactly something stuck here and move it around. Or what I do here is using hundreds of trackers, because when you have a 3D movement, the camera is moving, going back out, you don't need just one tracker, because one tracker just gives you the information about the X and the Y. This is the only information it gives you, not three-dimensional movement. That doesn't give you anything about that. It just gives you this way or this way. If you use two trackers, it gives you rotation information. It can give you scale information when it comes closer. Like for example, those two fingers, I'm not spreading them apart, okay? But when they get closer to the camera, you see how the fingers look like they're like further away. Obviously they're not. And when they're like further away, they look like they're closer together, the distance. So when you have two trackers on those fingers, the trackers go further away. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, that maybe it might be confusing, but this is basically what trackers do. And then you can track with 4 trackers. So you have like, you can put like, for example, something in my window here. Like I could use 1, 2, 3, 4 trackers and save only this information. So I can replace this window with a picture of my ass, for example. And obviously I'm not going to do that, probably. But what we're doing here, we're tracking entire camera movement in 3D space. So we look around, we can go back and forth, we save all this information, okay? And that takes a while. As you can see, it's analyzing my background, step 1 of 2. That means it basically goes through all my footage and tries to save as many tracking markers and tracking points as possible. For example, it's going to save up those 4, it's going to save up these here, everything what has some kind of contrast is going to save the information. Like this spot, for example, and when I have at least 4, I can put something on this wall. Anything. It could be a picture, it could be a text, it could be a logo, whatever I want, really. But that always takes a while. As you can see up here, it says remaining 7 minutes. So it's a 38% done. So that takes a while. So faster would be to track individually, but because I don't know yet where I'm gonna put footage in, I'm gonna wait those 7 minutes. Titty. So after it's done analyzing the background, it's solving the camera. So basically it gives us camera information, the way the digital camera would be moving, because that's the idea. You have a real camera, obviously, it was a real drone flying out, but it tries to simulate this camera movement with the digital camera. This is what's happening right now, solving camera. So now, you see all these hundreds of tracking markers, you see that? And while, here I zoom in a little, I was talking about just 4, like one here, there, there, and there. But now see how many there are? And all these give us information about the camera movement. So, and you see also this target, is it called? The target, and you see in which angle it's positioned. So when you see a flat ground like here, I can even select a few, but usually I wouldn't do that. I just click somewhere. When now I right click and create solid and camera. Now I see this big blue thing, which is kind of weird. But when we now zoom out, we show the camera movement. Now there is this huge blue solid just flat at the wall. Obviously we don't need it right now, but that gives us a good understanding of how much information we actually have now. So when I go back to my 3D camera tracker, now I click on the same spot, right click, and I could create a text, a solid, a null, or a shadow or a light catcher. But that is too advanced. What we're gonna do is create a text. Okay, we created a text called fill flock. Okay, the text is huge right now. See how big it is? Text. So right now we don't need it. We don't need it to be as big. We need. I'm gonna go on. Call it fill flock and make the size way smaller. So fill flock. Obviously, we're gonna make it pink. And now we can see it's tracked to our window, to our house. It's gonna be until we don't see it anymore. So it's there all the time. Isn't that cool? You might remember this is exactly how I did the Hollywood star. This is how I added a name to the Hollywood star. And if I don't want it to be like this, it doesn't have to be flat at the wall. I can adjust it and turn it this way, bring it away from the wall, because at this point I can move it the way I want. It doesn't have to be flat at the wall. If I want it to be like this, sticking out of the wall for some reason, I can do that too. What I did in the beginning to clicked on the wall, pick the wall. This is just for the initial position, so I know where it kind of is. But then I can adjust that. So I'm going to rotate this back. It doesn't have to be flat at the wall. I don't actually like that. I want it to be sticking out a little. And then eventually I could make a fake shadow of my words also on here, but I'm not going to do that. That's too advanced. We're just going to do a tracking here. So while the camera goes out, maybe what I want is my logo to be in the pool, swimming in the pool. And I loaded my logo inside of here already. Fill logo. It's right here. I'm gonna turn the eye off for now so we don't see it. So now, same thing. I'm click on my footage, on my effect, on the 3D camera tracker, and now I need to find trackers which are kind of in the pool, on the same pool level. It doesn't have to be in the pool, just in the same distance from the camera. I found 3, right click, and now I'm going to create a solid. I'm going to explain why in a second. So now I'm going to check if this solid is actually where I need it to be. So obviously it's not perfect. I'm going to bring it to over the pool, rotate that it's the same rotation like the pool, which is right now it's like flat. So I rotated it. So, and this solid, I'm just going to use it for the information of the rotation, of course, and of the position. So I'm going to go click on it, open the task, transform. I'm going to use the position, Control C. Now just click the eye off so I don't see it anymore. Click the eye on of my logo. Click on it, Control V. Now it shifted because I made a mistake. You have to click on 3D layer first. It has to be a 3D layer, and then you copy paste the position, because with this logo here, that basically tells you, hey, I want this to be a 3D layer or not. Everything what is a 3D layer is going to be affected by the 3D camera. Everything what's not turned on as a 3D camera, 3D layer, it's not going to be affected by the 3D camera. So now you see that my logo is moving with my footage. If this thing here was off, it wouldn't. See, it's not affected by my footage. So again, on. Now I don't really like the rotation. I have to rotate it a little bit, maybe make it a little smaller because I want it to be inside the pool for whatever reasons. Maybe I can even add like a overlay effect, so it's like part of the pool. Maybe, what about screen? Whatever. So now it's part of our footage. So now we have the fill flock here. I'm going to bring that to the center so we see it from the very beginning. Beautiful. My name is there. Now we see my logo here. Now while we're zooming out, we still see our fill flock back here. We still see my logo here. Here, of course, if there was like a real production, I would need to cut out those trees and bring those trees in front of my logo to make it look like, okay, my logo is actually in the water. But that would take too long. That's why I'm not going to do that. But in reality, this is what I would do. Anyways, I can also bring, to make it easier, bring this logo into this pool instead. That should work too. See, now it's in this pool swimming. My name is still back here. See that? This logo is here. And then while we zoom out, I can add maybe another text. For that, I'm gonna go back on my 3D camera tracker, and I'm gonna try to find a cool 3 solids here. Right click, 3 tracking markers, create solid, and now we see another solid back there. I don't need it, but I do want to use it for the information. And now I can add, what should I add? Let's see what I have on a desktop. So I just downloaded a green screen image of a monster. So now I'm just going to add this monster, make a 3D layer, copy paste again our position information of this little tracking marker, copy, go back to our monster, paste, It's tiny, tiny, tiny small, and the rotation is wrong, so we're going to increase the size, move the rotation so he's standing upright, and now obviously we're going to remove the green real quick. Now let's see. Thingy back to the side so we don't have him here. Okay, so now we have three big monsters just standing on the street. Appearing here. That's pretty dope, isn't it? Almost looks real because they also have a shadow, but unfortunately the shadow comes from the wrong direction, I think. Anyways guys, this is how you can track your camera, make it look like it's 3D, put different objects into your footage. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and have a beautiful rest of your Tutorial Thursday. Titty.